I'm Sylvester Otieno. I'm 26 years of age. I sell kuku Kienyeji, the indigenous local chicken from home. I'm a millennial on the move. This business, it's in two parts. We sell to the walk-in customers as well as we sell to the online customers. For the online customers, we get them through Twitter, where I do a lot of posting. I also do a lot of education. I educate my customers on how to enjoy this local delicacy. For the walk-in customers, we sell in City Stadium Market. That is where we sell our chicken. So when you walk into City Stadium, around the Bama Market, you can always find us there. For the online customers, we take their orders, prepare them for a day, and then we sell the next day. So on the next day, when we are going to sell the chicken, the first thing we do is we dress the chicken and then package and then send to the delivery location. I'm a strict vegetarian. I don't take meat, either white or red, but I love this business a lot. I think it started way back in 2017. I used to stay with an auntie all the way in Bunyore, that is in the western region. So during my stay with her, part of the time, she owned a kuku Kienyeji. It was not kuku Kienyeji, but she owned a kuku shop where we received chicken from Nairobi, and then after receiving chicken from Nairobi, we used to sell to customers the assorted pieces. So I think from that is where I found my niche, and I decided that maybe this is now what I need to do. And with this chicken business, it's something that I already knew. So when COVID came in 2020 and our jobs were gone, I thought maybe this is what I know and this is what I should do. And then I received a good reception, and that's where it all started. So I decided to do chicken. What I love most about this business is the fact that this business is like a therapy session to me. I mean, with COVID and everything, I mean, a lot of people were so much taken aback, some were depressed and all. So this was my getaway. That is the very first thing I love about this business. Another thing I love about this business is that you meet so many different people. Some are very benevolent, some are very good people. I mean, these are strangers that you only meet and they are perfectly nice to you. And just because of you giving them a good and them giving you money, but then you get that these people, they offer you even much more besides just that business. So what I really love about this business is that it's giving me the freedom to meet so many people that I didn't dream of meeting them just yet. So a typical day for me, I mean, I wake up, my alarm goes on at 4:30 a.m. in the morning every day. So when I wake up, the first thing is I dash to Mudhurwa Market. When I get to Mudhurwa Market, I get nyanya huko. Nikipata nyanya huko, nyanya bondeka, I get mboga zenye zimebaki and all that. Take them all the way to Kayole, where we have the kuku Kienyeji farm, where we hold our chicken. So I take it there so that they eat those. I mean, I do this specifically because these are indigenous chicken, and that is what they feed on when they're at home. They feed on locally acquired food, not feeds or anything. Immediately after that, I'm back to town. I help my aunt open up the open air market. And then from there, I pick the orders that we had previously. I take the chicken meant for those orders, come to the house and dress this chicken, package, and then by 10 a.m. I'm always on the road for deliveries. So during this time, I get to, because now we are not using motorbikes or anything, we're still using PSV. So during my time in the PSV, that is when now I get to go onto Twitter and interact with my customers by giving them education, helping them on the recipes, as well as just giving general information to even people who wish to venture into this business. I was born in Siaya in 1996, very cold Sunday night. I was born to two very staunch Christian parents. My dad used to play kayamba. I know if you're Catholic, you know the kayamba, it's played in the church, and he was also a choir member. My mom was in those church groups. So also me, I think I danced in the church. I was a liturgical dancer for quite some time. And then after that, we were just a good family up to until maybe in 2004 that I lost my dad. He passed on. And then through a road accident, and then a year later, I did experience even much more trauma, because then I was there when my mom was passing on a year later in 2005. And you know, I'm a kid and I'm having someone passing in the house. So that was too much trauma. So basically that is all much I can remember about me growing up with my parents, being with my parents and all. So when I come to the school bit, I studied at Karapul Primary School, that is in Siaya. Up to class 8, I scored 342 marks. Thereon, I was called to join a school in Kisii called Cardinal Otunga, but because of the financial constraints here and there, I was not able to join Cardinal Otunga, so I went to Barding Boys High School. During those days, people used to get 2 calling letters. So now you weigh which one do you want to go. So I got 2 calling letters, fortunately. So I didn't take Cardinal Otunga because of the financial constraints and everything. So I went for the cheaper and more viable option, which was to Barding Boys. So I went to Barding Boys. I scored an A-, luckily enough. So after scoring my A-, and then I proceeded to University of Eldoret, where I took actuarial science up to my graduation in 2018. So from there, life is what it is. I mean, we can't complain, we move on. You know, our country, sometimes we have very few limited opportunities. So I've not been so much lucky to get those opportunities, but I've been lucky to get this business. So upon graduation in the university, that was in 2018, that was on a 30th November. People came to my graduation, but the only gift that I found I received during my graduation was a picture frame that I was to use later on to put my graduation picture. But then something happened on our way home. So on our way home, I think I got my biggest graduation gift. That was an interview to go do an interview with one of the top restaurants in the country. So I went and did my interview, and that was on the 30th day, the day that I did graduate. So that was my biggest graduation gift at that moment, because then it meant that if I was successful for this interview, then the next thing that I was doing is I was getting a job, and I was not going to tarmac much. So I did get a job. I got a job with Java House Africa as a steward. So from being a steward, I worked my way up through rigorous training and research and everything. So I was promoted from a steward to a buzz. Later on, I helped in the kitchen. And then lastly, when I was leaving in 2020 due to COVID and the redundancy that it brought and the repercussions, I left as a cashier. So from there, from 2020 up to now, after leaving, we were given some benefits in lieu. So the benefits in lieu are the benefits that I used to establish this business. So from 2020 up to this very moment, I've been doing chicken business. So you know, my parents are very much orthodox. I mean, they're somehow, they believe in some conformity and conventional way. So the people that thought that immediately you graduate, you'd maybe get a job in the office and everything. So that's all my mom has been praying for me. My mom is someone who took care of me after my biological mom passed. So this is the person that I've known as my mom. So she expected that I'd get a job. Unfortunately, I did not get a job, and I started doing Kienyeji business. So for the first 2 bits, maybe 3 months, I didn't tell her. And then when I told her, because I wanted to tell her when this thing was now ready and it was working and it had some benefits from it. So there is a night that I sent her around 1,000 shillings, and then I told her, you know what, hiyo pesa imetoka kwa biashara. Akaniuliza, what business are you doing? I told her I'm doing Kienyeji business, and she was happy. I mean, she was happy. She's been helping me to even get chicken from local farmers. So business is business. There are highs and there are lows. It's like a roller coaster. There are days when you're doing quite well. There are days when it's not that so much good. So my lowest moment in this business has been, there is a time I got a bulk order in Thika. I was supposed to supply a lot of chicken to Thika. So I think they wanted like over 200 chicken. Jogos, they were around 75, and then the rest were the female ones. So nikajipanga, I hired a vehicle, a van. We went to home, we collected chicken because this was bulk and I needed to be on the ground. So I was on the ground, I came with the chicken. There were a lot and they were in the van. So during the transportation, some unfortunately perished during the transportation because of the squeeze. The place was so squeezed, so I think it was so squeezed. So I think there was stampede. I don't know if stampede may also occur in chicken. So there was stampede in the van, and I lost some. I lost a good number of chicken. So when I got there to my client, upon reaching, I saw my chicken, and because we had not signed a contract or anything with him, the amount that we had agreed on, he said, you know what, I'm not taking this chicken unless you reduce the price even lower. So it was so much hard for me. It was the lowest moment because I made a loss. But as business it is, I mean, you have to keep on moving. So that was my lowest moment in this business. But I learned from it. I learned that before taking those bulk orders, I needed to sign a contract that stipulated the amount that maybe I'd get paid and the amount of chicken that I was supposed to supply. My biggest highlight in this business has been me being able to break even with my previous net annual salary, and this I broke even within 5 months into this business. When we come back, I'll tell you more about this highlight. This is Millennial on the Move. Welcome back, this is Sylvester, the proprietor with Nairobi Kienyeji suppliers, and this is Millennial on the Move. Back to my highlights. So, you know, when you're doing business, you have to be able to have your books in order. So I decided to have my books on order and compare with my previous salary at the restaurant that I used to work. I mean, at that particular restaurant, there is a gross that we used to get paid. So I calculated that in regards to the net that I also got paid there, and then decided to compare it against what my business was bringing in. And in 5 months, I was so much lucky that by the 5th month, I was already breaking even with my previous salary. So to me, that is my biggest, most highlight since I started doing this business, because then I cannot say that I've lost, or what I can say is that I'm moving on and forward it is. Also, during this business, I've been so lucky to network with so many different people. I mean, I've met so many good clients, the likes of Cliff Ombeta. I've also supplied Rafael Tuju and so many other people. So I'm just happy that this business has given me so much highlights, because, you know, when you move to those estates, you go to deliver, I mean, you look at the environment, the ambience in those estates, you think maybe someday, maybe it could be me there. So I think these are highlights that I'm seeing. Also, this business, I think the greatest achievement is it's been able to employ me, employ my aunt, and employ my sister, who is also helping with the deliveries. So at the end of the month, we can maintain the lights on in our houses, we can pay bills. So to me, this is a very big, major highlight, because then we have been failed maybe by the system. We didn't get jobs even after studying quite well, but we've been able to employ ourselves. I've employed my sister, and I've also employed my aunt and me. So my biggest lesson learned here is that in business, customer satisfaction is the pinnacle of any business that you're going to do. Because one, if the customer is satisfied, most probably they are going to be a return customer. And the return customers are the customers that keep the business going. So customer satisfaction is very much core whenever you're trying to indulge in this business or any other business. Two, when customers are satisfied, then it means that then they are going to give you referrals. Referrals are also very much important in keeping this business afloat. So that is my greatest lesson. Also, I've learned that you need to keep books. You have to be able to keep your books well. You know how much you've invested, how much you've used in expenses, and how much you've gotten from the business as revenue. That is after all the expenses are deducted. I'm inspired by so many people. I mean, you know, when you get to business, you're looking at other people that are doing business. It necessarily doesn't have to be this business, but any other person in business and how successful they have been or what were their failures. But mainly I'm inspired by the president. I mean, he's the chief kuku kienyeji or the chief chicken peddler. He's the person that has sold chicken to wherever he is. So he's my greatest source of inspiration. I'm hoping that maybe one day we'll be able to supply as much as he does in terms of what he's said on media previously. I'm also inspired by my mom. I mean, the kind of patience that woman has, it's a lot. I always pray to God that I can get even a quarter of the kind of patience she has, because patience is very much important in this business. There are days that you don't get the orders, you have to be patient enough and wait the next day so that you can get those orders. To ensure that this business is a success, I do a lot of research, and my research entails watching a lot of documentaries. I literally binge watch documentaries that are related to businesses, startups. I watch a lot from, I research a lot on successful startups that were successful, but also I also look at the startups that didn't make it, the startups that maybe went for a year and fall. So I look at what are the reasons why they never made it into this market, or what are the reasons why they failed. Also look at those startups that were successful, and also watch those successful companies. I do a lot of research on that. Also, to ensure that I stay afloat, I always want customer feedback. I don't ask for it immediately, but then when I supply you with the chicken, I give you maybe some time, maybe 3 days, and then I can text you or maybe call to get your feedback. So with that feedback, I always know what to improve on next when supplying you or when supplying someone else, or what to maintain or what you love most. In the next 5 years, I want to be a household name. Nataka, in the next 5 years, when it's dinner time and maybe mom is asking in the house, leo mnataka kukula nini? Even the kids, the young ones, watakuwa nasema tunataka kukula kuku kienyeji kutoka kwa Nairobi kuku kienyeji plug. Maybe also to decide, in the next 5 years, I also want to be maybe running a restaurant that could maybe focus on this indigenous local food. So right now what I'm doing to ensure that in the next 5 years we are where we are, I've been sourcing for investors, people that might like this idea, that want to join in. So I've been talking to a few people. Some have approached me also in the Twitter platform. This is what we are doing right now. We are talking to people that maybe also want to help me achieve this dream of mine. We've been talking to them. So in the next 5 years, or maybe even less than 5 years, we'll be somewhere, I believe. I have this mantra that I go by each and every day. It's, you only got one life, don't waste it. I mean, use this life purposefully. Try out businesses. If employment doesn't come by, or even if you're in employment, you want some other sources of income, so that at the end of the day, you have surplus and you have much that you can save. So if you want to go into any business, just know that the life, it's only one, and don't waste it. So as millennials, I think we fail a lot in terms of exercising patience in whatever we endeavor to do. We have to learn, because I think patience is it's a fruit of the Holy Spirit, or maybe it's a gift of the Holy Spirit. So So it's from the most high being in the world. It's from God. So you have to have this patience. Twitter bana. Twitter is the best. I mean, I don't know if I'd be from 2020 if it were not for Twitter, maybe ningekuwa nimerudi ushago naishi na mom. But because of Twitter, I met so many good people on Twitter. I post my orders on Twitter, and then some help me retweet it. I've had success with there is one guy on Twitter called Jaloka. Is the beginning of all these. So what I'd say, my customers, you're the best people. You're the best thing. I think maybe from my graduation, ndio graduation yangu satini ilichukua nikaeka chini ya mattress. So I think maybe from that, the other thing that has happened to me that is so good in this life is you customers. You've been the best people, and keep on taking my orders. Keep on ordering chicken from me, and I'll never let you down. I'll always supply you whenever you want. You are the best people. So to my prospective customers, if you want to order chicken from me, you can get me on Twitter at, my handle is at Kienyeji, or maybe you can just write Nairobi Kuku Kienyeji, plug. You'll always get me on there on Twitter. Also, I take phone calls. You can call my number. It's 07 17 882 022. I have great discounts for you. I have great offers. We do offers on weekends. Buy from me. You'll enjoy it. And it's pure Kienyeji chicken.